Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming. All right, so the Los Angeles Lakers just got through playing the Portland Trailblazers at the Crow here in LA, and man, oh man, did the Lakers put it on the Blazers. It was probably the best offensive performance the Lakers have had all season long, but that was skewed, to be completely honest with you, by the fact that the Portland Trailblazers really suck on the defensive end. They are a bad basketball team right now without C.J. McCollum, without Yusuf Nurkic. They're missing some key guys, and of course they had some guys going in and out of the lineup. They just got Dennis Smith Jr. back, just got Ben McLemore back, and then I think they lost somebody too. I mentioned in the previous video, I forgot who it was. But all in all, on this New Year's Eve, the Lakers were able to get the victory, and they did it in emphatic fashion. LeBron James was he was LeBron James. The best way to describe the player was to say who he is, because he's the pinnacle. He was LeBron James tonight. 43 points, 14 rebounds. I think he had 4 assists, but he was efficient. He was relentless. He was physical. He picked good shots, took good shots, made excellent passes in situations, getting the ball to guys. Of course, the boards, all that you want to see from LeBron James, he gave it to you tonight. One of the best performances I've seen him in a Laker uniform. It was one of the top 10 all LeBron Laker performances. I don't know what he did in other places, but for this place, he took advantage of that non-existent offense, and he continued to be relentless. And you know what? Don't look now, but the Lakers have a nice set of rotation players right now. The guys that we have in rotation, for the most part, now that we have some guys coming back and we picked up Stanley Johnson, now we have a team full of guys that you could say, you know what, I like this team. All we need now is to improve upon some of the major aspects of this team, which for me is not having a center, which really reared its ugly head in terms of the offensive glass. Portland destroyed us on the offensive glass. They got so many offensive rebounds tonight, it was not even worth talking about, but you can see where that was the problem. It's the fact that we didn't have a center on the floor. We punted the center position, it seems, and because of it, we're going to have nights like this where we get outboarded. But that was pretty much the only thing Portland could really do for themselves in terms of flexing on us. The Lakers were excellent tonight in terms of turning the ball over. They only had 7 turnovers as a team. 7 as a team. Like, again, you're going to have nights like that, just like what I said against Houston. When you play against teams that don't play defense, who are not going to force turnovers, it should be much easier for you to handle your business and not give the ball up. And that's what we saw out there. It's us just taking care of the ball. LeBron James handling the ball more so. The poise of our guy Austin Reeves was out there. Thank God he is back, and you saw him out there in terms of giving us production, even though his jump shot was not there tonight. The timing of the passing and the different things that he does to help your team outside of scoring was evident tonight. So it was great having him back. And then, of course, Stanley Johnson did exactly what we needed him to do. And tonight, his jump shot was falling, so he was even more effective for us. And I'll tell you what, I love what I saw out of Taylor Horton-Tucker tonight. Even though he had his issues shooting the ball, like I said, he's not a great shot selector, to say the least. But what I did see was good sequences out of him where he would, get in there and get in the lanes, driving, scoring, putting himself in positions to make good passes, getting himself in position to bump guys and kind of knock them off of their positioning on the defensive end. He just did some really good things tonight. You could tell the coaches are working with him, trying to bring him along and continue to keep the confidence in the kid. And as a result, you're going to have nights where he plays well. And just like he plays poorly, just like we've seen him play poorly a lot, do not be surprised if he switches on the switch and starts playing well a lot, because he's capable. That's the thing about Taylor Horton-Tucker. It's no in between. Either he's really, really good or he's horrible. And right now he's been horrible. Tonight he was really good, and I think you might start seeing him play better again. See, that's the thing. I don't want anybody to lose sight of that. It's either he's great or he's trash. So eventually he'll put it all together, but don't be surprised when he starts playing well for like a week and a half or 2 weeks and you start thinking he's an all-star and start thinking all these different things. The problem with him is just consistency. It's not upside. The dude is an all-star level upside player, and you'll see glimpses of that here and there. So yeah, that's what I say about THT. Just do the best you can to be patient. Understand that he's going to look bad someday again, just like he's going to look great someday again. It's just part of his process. Malik Monk was excellent again tonight. Gotta love Malik Monk. He had a reverse layup for the ages, hit his 3-point shots. All of that was very good tonight. Also, like what I saw from Carmelo Anthony, he bounced back very well. Had a really hot start to the first quarter, first half, and that got us out into the type of lead that we ended up having. He set the tone in some ways, along with Russell Westbrook, who was making some really good passes out there, man. I love what I saw from Russell Westbrook from a playmaking perspective tonight. He was sharp. He was locked in. He was finding guys, getting boards, doing things that you need him to do. He wasn't scoring the ball like that, but he was trying to get to the line, trying to put himself in a position to be effective offensively. And I like what I saw from him. You know, he had a couple of those bumbling turnovers that you hate to see, but more of the better stuff from him is what we saw tonight. And I think we picked and choose when we wanted to have him on the floor as well. I think we did a good job of balancing him out his minutes, making it so that he was featured, but also making sure that we, put other players in position to ball handle. So that was really, really, really good. It wasn't a whole lot not to like about the Lakers. If you're the Portland Trailblazers, you're very concerned because that team looked bad. Like, they look as bad as anybody. You know, I went on record a couple days ago saying the Lakers were the worst team in the league, but I was overreacting. We were definitely not the worst team in the league. A team like Portland right now looks like the worst team in the league. So that was a complete overreaction by me. I do think we're one of the worst teams in the league, but we're definitely not at the bottom, especially with LeBron James playing like this. As I told you guys also about 2 weeks ago, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, I said LeBron James would probably enter his name into the MVP conversation starting at that moment when he came back from COVID protocol and he started showing signs of really having a rhythm about him. Came back from that injury and everything. I was like, you know what, he's going to start entering his name to that MVP conversation. Well, guess what? I'm pretty dang sure he's entered his name into that right about now. I don't think he's going to win it. I don't even know if he'll finish top 5, but right now he is in the top 5. And the way he played tonight was nothing short of MVP caliber performance. So you have to give him his credit. Tonight was about LeBron James flexing his muscle on a non-defensive team that wasn't going to do nothing to stop him. They didn't have no answer for him. As I told you guys, we could get away with playing small ball tonight. We didn't play any centers at all. It didn't matter. The only thing that hurt us, of course, was the rebounding. But other than that, we shot well. We controlled the pace, which I really liked. I felt the team did a great job of keeping pace tonight, especially in that first half when we were building up that lead. Russell Westbrook, guys like Malik Monk, they were just keeping that pace strong while LeBron James just continued to bulldoze that team. I mean, he was an avalanche. I'm telling you, it was a very, very special performance by him tonight. And that's the thing. If you have a team like this where they don't defend at all, we can really flex because we have some guys out there who can play some offense. That's for damn sure. So that's what we saw tonight. You know, we were very happy to run into a team that didn't play D. So that's the most important thing. 7 turnovers. I mean, I don't know that we've had a game where we've had 7 turnovers. This might have been the best for that tonight. One of the things that I really like also is just seeing the Lakers have more ball movement, more people movement. I've been complaining about that all year long, about how I hated some of the plays that we've been running. Well, tonight I saw what I want to see, the type of plays I want to see, the type of cohesiveness I want to see from the team, the ball popping, guys moving, finding balance and spreading the floor, but also doing things like setting screens, stuff like that. This was the best run offense that I've seen tonight. So it was a perfect storm. Not only did we run good stuff and shoot the ball extremely well, but we also ran into a team that wasn't going to do nothing about any of it. So it was exactly what we needed coming back home from this road trip, especially given the fact that we're going to have to see some of the same teams coming up this week. It was nice to have a team that we could just do nothing, just play well against and have no trouble against. So, yeah, that's what you saw, man. That's what you saw, you know. I'm just thinking about the Portland Trailblazers and how awful they look tonight, though. I mean, I don't know what Dame is going to do with his career, how he feels about things right now, but I can't see myself going into the Crypto.com arena fully healthy, you know, and getting blown out that bad, looking around and seeing the roster like this. He has to be frustrated, man. I mean, Ben McLemore was their first I think he was the second highest scorer tonight with like 24 points, and he was bricking just about everything in the first half. Now, granted, Ben McLemore is really someone that we liked having as a Laker. I barely seen him miss any shots as a Laker. He was great with us, but since he got to Portland, yeah, it ain't been the same. And tonight he was really bad in that first half. But ultimately, he kept shooting, kept shooting, kept shooting, and like shooters do, he found his rhythm. But my thing was, why do they keep going to this guy who's cold? Like, he was icy cold. But you know what? Looking at that team, they just didn't have a whole lot. I mean, you saw some good things out of Nazir Little earlier in the game. Um, but I mean, I could tell you, they just didn't have just like us. They don't have a center out there. Just like us, they're missing guys, and unlike us, they don't have any playmakers, like nobody. So it was really nice to go against them tonight. I'm just gonna be honest. You talk about the Houston Rockets and how we went up against that team and got a victory. Uh, Houston's better than Portland right now. If these two games are any indication, Houston is better than Portland. So, yeah, that's what I want to say about that. Let's see, man. Lakers shot the ball well again for the fourth straight game. We're shooting the three ball very well. After having that slumping couple of games where we couldn't throw a rock in the ocean, Lakers are back to shooting above 40% for the third or fourth straight game. So I couldn't be more pleased with us shooting the ball and how we're shooting it. Again, the Stanley Johnson defensive effect came into play tonight. I think we've had some excellent defensive sequences. Everybody played defense well. Carmelo Anthony was getting block shots. LeBron James played that side of the ball extremely well. As I said, THT did some good things on that side of the ball. Avery Bradley was real strong on that side of the ball tonight. You just have to like the effort, Like I said, you don't look now, but now that Stanley Johnson is back, now that AR-15 is back, and THT can suddenly start to roam a little better because those guys are going to kind of help him and stuff like that. Don't look now, but that's a rotation of players. That's like 3 players that I'm very happy playing in rotation. And then LeBron James is holding down so much of the weight. Then you throw in a little Wayne Ellington, you know what I mean? It's like the team suddenly is starting to look a little better just off the strength of the type of players that we're bringing back and what they bring to the table. So I'm not saying that we're, all of our problems are solved, because we're far from that. But the illusion of our team only having old guys that can run around and that's it, that's not true. We can sit some of them old guys, throw more Malik Monk, more THT, more Stanley Johnson, more HBK, also known as AR-15. You throw enough of those guys, get them in rotation. Hopefully Kendrick Nunn comes back. Don't look now, but we got a nice rotation. You know what I mean? And that's ultimately what we hope to see. So optimism. I'm not saying we're great, but what you can see is more capability on the perimeter in terms of defense, with Stanley Johnson and HBK coming back in, and these guys. You see the potential to actually do something defensively. So all we need now is a rim protector or two, and I heard somebody say something. Who was it I was listening to today? I think it was Gilbert Arenas, who was talking about LeBron James. I think it was on a Vlad TV interview or something, but he was talking about LeBron James and how LeBron removes the center, so that in one of these sequences where he was playing against him back in the day, they removed the center, and it was easy for LeBron to kind of maneuver that way because he could always have the upper hand on the team. And I'm like, yo, is that his doing? Is that why we keep playing small ball, because he wants to play without centers? Like, as soon as Gilbert said that, it clicked in my head, like, yo, maybe that's why we keep going small. Because the Lakers mantra, the way we move as a franchise, we believe in centers. Like, clearly, every championship we ever won had a plethora of big guys. So I'm trying to figure out why we've changed our philosophy now to where we don't even want to audible out of small ball. We don't even have a center rostered on the roster. It has to be a LeBron James thing. And then when he said that, I'm like, oh, that's what it is. Bron likes, that's his thing. But it's like, Bron, you punt the rebounding category when you do that. Especially when your guards and your wings aren't defensive. You really, 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 really need rim protection. But from an offensive standpoint, for him, I guess his mindset is, Well, I can overcome that. It's like punting defense entirely. It's like I can overcome that because I have such an offense on the offense. I'll have such an advantage on the offensive side. So if that's what he's thinking, I hate it. I hate it. I don't like small ball, man. I don't. But if that's what it's doing, at least it helps me understand why the hell we don't have a center out there running around. Like I said, small ball is fine so long as you can audible out of it. So important to me. But tonight, when you're going up against a Portland Trailblazer team, hey, you prefer it. You know, this is when you run it. When they have the tallest guy on the floor is Larry Nance Jr. and nobody on their team defends either. Yeah, this is why we're able to score 130 points, because you're able to actually use a small ball lineup that's going to just run their team off the floor. So, I like small ball when it's done the right way. And this would be the lineup that you do it against. So, yeah, that we went off. We scored 134, I guess I said. I think it was 134 to 109 or something like that. Don't quote me on that score, but it was something like that. And, you just want to see the Lakers kind of play better defense. Again, this was a struggling Portland Trailblazer team. They should not have scored over 100 points against us. But when you don't have rim protection, that really is the story right there. Offensive rebound, second chance points is why they weren't blown out by a lot more. I don't think the way they were shooting the ball in the first half, I don't think they should have scored more than 89 points. They really shouldn't. No more than 90. But because we're not quite where we want to be defensively, they were able to get that. But, nothing that Rob can't fix with a center. That's all I got to say about that. Because we definitely had better defense on the perimeter and guys switching better and making better reads for the most part. You still saw some blown defensive assignments here and there, but with our guy AR-15 coming back and Stanley Johnson being down there, it was more high basketball IQ on the defensive end that I could appreciate. And that's what I want to say. Like, AR-15 really does bring high basketball IQ on both sides of the floor. So he makes others better in that regard. He, believe it or not, kind of masks certain mistakes and things of that nature by being in the right place at the right time and offsetting some of the low basketball IQ stuff that we see from some of our other guys. So, I think that contributed, his return contributed to why some of the turnovers were down, I think. But I'd have to look at the stats and look at the game film to really know that. But yeah, man, I'm telling you, all it takes is a couple players entering the lineup, being able to do certain things that can change things. You get that center down there, that rim protector that can run the floor, and you're gonna see things start to really come together for this Laker team. So that's what we need, man. Get us a Miles Turner or Clint Capella, somebody like that. Yeah, we'll be rolling. So we can move AD back to the 4. Team will be just fine. That's what we need to do. And then if we want to go small ball, we can audible into it. That's the way, man. So I like what I saw from the Lakers tonight, no doubt. LeBron James definitely gets the game ball. He is going to be player of the week or something. He's playing crazy right now. And, you just got to understand, the man's 37 years old as of yesterday. And he is really, really playing some of the best basketball of his legendary career. So, I was sitting there watching tonight, and I looked over and I said, I saw somebody had posted, LeBron James is the greatest player of all time. And I said, he hasn't done that, but I'll tell you this. I don't think Mike could have did what he did tonight at 37 years of age. Absolutely not. I think I'll leave it at that. My name is BDL44. Thank y'all for watching.